part of Britain's economy will be as poor as it was when Napoleon invaded Russia in 1812. And living standards are going to face the biggest squeeze since ration books were phased out in the 1950s, according to devastating analysis of the Tories' Brexit budget. The Resolution Foundation Living Standards think tank revealed their findings the day after Philip Hammond's budget. They found the economy will be £42 billion smaller in 2022 than had been expected in March. The Institute for Fiscal Studies also indicated that Hammond's flagship stamp duty cut for first-time buyers in England will cost the equivalent of £160,000 per extra home bought. The think tank suggested the government could have simply bought people a new property in many areas of England and Wales. The abolition of stamp duty for the first £300,000 of properties bought by first-time buyers is only forecast to result in 3,500 extra sales, despite costing almost £600 million a year. Theresa May and Philip Hammond are Cant and Wr, as we christened them yesterday. Image PA analysis of the budget found that the economy will be £42 billion smaller in 2022 than had been expected in March, as well as living standards facing the biggest squeeze since records began in the 1950s. Productivity growth is set to be the worst since the early 1800s, according to the Resolution Foundation analysis. They found the future for family finances is unremittingly grim, with pay forecast to be £1,000 a year lower on average than the OBR thought in March. Pay rates will not reach the levels seen before the 2008 financial crash until 2025. A living standards disaster will see disposable income £540 lower than previously expected by 2022, with the current fall in real incomes set to continue and to become the longest on record. Tax and benefits measures announced by Hammond and predecessor George Osborne since 2015 will hit the poorest households. The poorest third of households will be, on average, £715 a year worse off by £202,223, while the richest third will be an average of £185 a year better off. Torsten Bell, director of the Resolution Foundation, said yesterday the Office for Budget Responsibility handed down the mother of all economic downgrades, pushing up borrowing for the Treasury, while Philip Hammond chose to take a relaxed approach to additional borrowing. Families are unlikely to do so when it comes to the deeply troubling outlook for the living standards that the budget numbers set out. Families are now projected to be in the early stages of the longest period of continuous falls in disposable incomes in over 60 years, longer even than that following the financial crisis. Hopefully, the OBR's forecasts will prove to be wrong, because, while the first sentence of the budget document reads, "The United Kingdom has a bright future," the brutal truth is not on these forecasts, it doesn't. Sturgeon dismisses Hammond's £2 billion for Scotland as smoke and mirrors. Torsten Bell, director of the Resolution Foundation, said the outlook for families is deeply troubling. At the Institute for Fiscal Studies post-budget briefing, boss Paul Johnson also had a grim warning. The director said, "It would take us until well past the 2060s for debt to fall to pre-crisis levels of 40% of national income. That assumes no recessions for the next half-century. I'll be dead." Hammond said the OBR watchdog's forecasts on the stamp duty move were based on a narrow analysis of the policy change and did not take into account government measures to boost the supply of new homes. The Chancellor, a noted Remainer, said there was always going to be uncertainty about the outcome of Brexit negotiations. But he said that, heading into 2018, there would be a sense of movement, and that confidence will return, businesses will start investing, consumers will start buying big-ticket consumer items again, and that will help to get our economy growing again faster. Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell said Hammond was cut off from the real lives of people. The SNP's Kirsty Blackman MP said the plan to abolish stamp duty for most first-time buyers was likely to increase house prices. The party's economy spokeswoman said of young people, "What they need is not the ability to put £20,000 into an ISA and save tax-free. What they need is for their income to be consistently and substantially higher than their expenditure. They need an increase in the minimum wage. They need a decrease in rents, and a decrease in the cost of living." Lib Dem leader Sir Vince Cable said, "The squeeze on pay and living standards is set to carry on until 2025, made worse by higher inflation since the Brexit vote." Meanwhile, the Conservatives' poor management of the economy means the budget will not be balanced until at least the 2030s. This was a truly regressive budget that maintained the deepest of the Conservatives' welfare cuts, hitting the poorest third of households hardest.